Hey YouTube, Sam here. Well, time to introduce you to another turd. Not happy about this one. Well, here it is in all its glory. It's an '01 Ford Escape. Now this is going to be kind of an introduction video for this car, so if you don't want to hear me talking and you want to see the stuff being done on this, go to another video later on down the road. Right now I'm just introducing the car. I keep buying Fords. I'm really not a Ford guy. But they're cheap. That's why I buy Fords. They usually have some sort of problem that needs fixed, so they're cheap. But this one, I actually got it, well, my wife actually got it at auction. Now, little story, I'll tell you what I paid for it. I paid about $1,800 for it, which around here is a good deal. I don't know what they run around your area, but a two-wheel drive version of this around here is actually selling, not just trying to sell it for, but selling for about $4,000. So I think I did okay. Now here's the caveat on that. Auction vehicles, you can start them up and kind of listen to them and look at them. That's about it. You don't get to drive them, you don't get to test them, you don't really get to, you can crawl around them as much as you can, but when they're just sitting stagnant, there's not a whole lot you can tell about it. Now when they're running, you can usually tell if they got a blown head gasket or some other issue or motor problems, but actually this one seemed to be pretty okay, so we went ahead and bought it. Now here's the problems with it. The first thing we noticed when we went to start driving it and going at around like 30 mile an hour, it starts kind of skipping a beat. We went and then the engine light came on not too long after we bought it, of course. And we went and had it looked at it O'Reilly's with their little computer there, and it's a random misfire, and I think it was 4. I can't remember. Anyways, no big deal. Worst case scenario, we're replacing a why can't I think of what it is? Basically a coil. And I don't know on these how hard or how expensive they are. I'll be honest about that. So hopefully it's just a matter of doing spark plugs and wires, which actually the last couple of times I did spark plugs and wires didn't turn out so well. Anyhow, random misfire, no big whoop. Well, within about probably about 2 weeks, every time we'd go, the car started making kind of a grinding noise. It wasn't too loud, it wasn't too bad, but I could tell it was something with the transmission or something like that. Well, then I started getting a little bit nervous. Started kind of looking around, and I noticed the motor was moving quite a bit. So I'm thinking, okay, motor mounts, no big deal. They seem to be actually pretty easy to get to. I don't know about changing them, but pretty easy to get to in this. Well, until I started really digging in and putting it in reverse and drive and kind of looking at what was moving, and it looks to me like the bolts that from the motor to the transmission, there's 3 of them that I could tell. All of them are stripped out. 2 of them I brought out by hand. 1 of them I had to kind of get out, but it was barely in there. So those are stripped out. Don't know exactly what I'm going to do. Honestly, I'm going to try and heel coil them, and we'll go from there if that doesn't work. Next, then I noticed there was random antifreeze leaking as I was kind of digging around and looking at what problems might be in here. And the water pump, I was pretty sure it was leaking from the water pump. Well, today I got a call from my wife because we've been driving it. I needed the car to drive right now. I didn't have time to work on it. I've got too many other things going on, but of course life happens. And my wife called me up today, and I'm pretty sure the water pump is pretty well seized up. She can only drive a few blocks at a time before it starts warming up on her. So, and I can see that there's definitely some antifreeze dripping down underneath the car here. I don't know if you can tell, I've got it actually up on ramps here. I don't do that often, but this car is plastic everywhere, and using my little lift thing that I have does not work well on these when there's plastic everywhere. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm not going underneath this without jack stands underneath it as well. I don't trust these ramps. I've actually personally seen a race car fold up a set of ramps and almost crush somebody. Luckily he got away. Anyways, so I don't trust ramps. Put jack stands. So there is the introduction to the 01 Ford Escape. Let's get some work done on it. The first one you'll probably see me come out with is probably doing the helicoils on the transmission mount, because if that doesn't work, I don't know how much more work I'm going to put into this car. It may end up getting sent down the road somewhere again. So anyhow, there you go. 01 Ford Escape. This is Sam, jack of all, master none. You all have a better one than I will be.